listening to Road Dog Trucking Radio's Women in Trucking Show on SiriusXM. Now, please welcome back your host and the CEO of the Women in Trucking Association, Ellen Voie.
Today I have the pleasure of introducing the 4 of the 6 finalists for the Influential Woman in Trucking Award. And we just said goodbye to Katrina Liddell, and earlier we had Crystal Anderson. Now I have the pleasure of introducing Vana Matte. She's the Senior Vice President of Engineering and Technology at J.B. Hunt. She's a global technology and digital transformation executive, a strategic, innovative leader. She has over 20 years' experience. And Vana leads the J.B. Hunt 360 digital freight matching platform infrastructure and operations, cybersecurity, cloud network, business continuity databases, unified communications engineering, digital workplace solutions, enterprise information management, software development, and IT operations, and continuous integration and continuous delivery, quality assurance and performance and tuning. Wow, Vana, that's quite a mouthful. She ensures J.B. Hunt driver technologies and shipper integration technologies are running effectively, and you were instrumental in enabling the J.B. Hunt employees to work remotely during the COVID pandemic. So thank you for taking time out on your Saturday to be on the Women in Trucking Show.
Ellen, you did an awesome job. Thank you for including me and a chance part of this Women in Trucking 2020 event. I'm humbled and honored to be part of it.
Well, we love all of our influential women, and I don't know if you heard me earlier, but that panel discussion normally at our conference is one of the most highly valued parts of the event, because we get to hear your stories and we get to learn from some amazing women. And so we'll be doing it virtually, which you're comfortable in a virtual environment, apparently, because you're engineering and technology. So let's jump right in. So I know that J.B. Hunt, and we have Rachel Christensen is on my board of directors, and Stan Hampton was on my board in the past. So J.B. Hunt has been a gold level partner of Women in Trucking for quite a few years now, and very active within our organization. And so let's talk about diversity. In fact, we had a diversity initiative a while back to integrate the LGBTQ community, and I know that J.B. Hunt has been a leader in that as well. So why is diversity and inclusion important in the workplace?
Sure. Diversity of thought process actually is very important for our society as well as our industries and our companies. It is actually even more critical, especially when we are living through this unprecedented times of our life. That's the big belief for me, is it's very critical for the society. And inclusion in the workplace is something as we as leaders, we could do. This is in our control and influence day in, day out. J.B. Hunt is a company which creates most positive work environment, i.e. for drivers, for carriers, for employees, so that we can bring our whole self to work, no matter who we are. And our drivers and our carriers, actually, they are the face of our company. They interact with our customers all day. Ellen, I'm going to quote here Ruth Bader Ginsburg's statement. Centuries, hundreds of years of inequality, and it's our duty to uplift the people who are disadvantaged. Why diversity and inclusion is important for J.B. Hunt? We want to make a difference in our society and uplift the disadvantaged. We will influence the society around us through our 21,000 plus drivers, which are very valuable to us, and very valuable 89,000 plus carriers, and very valuable 8,000 plus employees. It is very critical, the diversity and inclusion part of the value.
Wow, I've been to your facility, and it's huge. I've been to some events, but I'm guessing right now, because of the pandemic, a lot of your employees are working remotely, and you led that. And I know that you've got a lot of software and cybersecurity responsibility at J.B. Hunt. I can't even imagine what it's like ensuring that you're not crippled by something of, whatever. I mean, that's got to be a constant concern for you.
It is. It keeps me alive, and it keeps me now and then to bring so that I can come out of my basement too, where we run the cloud and the data centers. Actually, we have led several innovations. We made several investments, very planned investments for last 3+ years in the technology. And those things keep us alive. And it's important for us to ensure our drivers and carriers, the technologies they're using is up and running 24/7.
Well, let's talk about that because most of our listeners are drivers. Can you talk about some of the innovations that you've led that directly impact your drivers?
Sure. Actually, before I get into the innovations, I just want to share how we see our drivers. And I'd like to share some of the statements I hear. I've been here for 4+ years in this industry, Ellen. Our CEO and our executives and our JB Hunt leaders at various levels, I hear these words whenever they talk about the drivers and carriers as they are the salt of the earth, they are our lifeline, they are our heartbeat, they are our unsung heroes. And for the last 3 years, I've been here, we have rolled the red carpet for our million-mile drivers, like 3,700. This tradition has been going on since 1996, it seems, except in 2020, by the way, we rolled the red carpet for our drivers in our hearts and through our online celebrations kind of a stuff. So now coming back to the innovation, what we have done, Ellen, as I said, 70% of our JB Hunt workforce is our drivers. 89,000 plus carriers are on our digital platform. So it's very important for us to ensure our digital platform is live and kicking, and the heartbeat of the digital platform is running well. Mobile is our major focus. We have invested in the mobile technology so that drivers can get through the work done in a most efficient manner. Innovations like tablets in a truck, Drive mobile app, single pane of glass for our drivers. We went beyond the OBC messages, like we went after the gamification of the safety points. Our drivers, 11 hours a day, they're on the road. So we continuously think about how can we plan a trip for a driver, plan a shipment, plan a product for better use of drivers, and put more time and more money into their pocket by reducing the wastage kind of stuff. Hot off the press, JB Hunt drivers and carriers, please pay attention to this. Just a couple of hours ago, we have introduced a share sheet concept for our JB Hunt administrators so that we can text the drivers the loads they are on. That got released just 2 hours ago. And the quality of
that is hot off the press. Wow, congratulations.
Quality of the life updates for both iOS and Android went live, and we have 30+ or so drive capabilities we planned by the end of 2020 and very early 2021.
Wow. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
So, and I know when the 360 came out, I mean, at trade shows, you guys, the 360, was that about 2 years ago maybe that the 360 came out, and you guys were talking about all the attributes?
That's right.
Yep, about 2 years ago. So, and I remind our listeners that I'm talking to Vana Matte. She's the Senior Vice President of Engineering and Technology at JB Hunt. Quite a responsibility. So before we go for a break, let's just talk a little bit about the COVID pandemic and how you've helped drivers ensure seamless operations.
Sure. Safety is the top priority for JB Hunt. As I said before, 70% of our work people are our drivers and co-workers in the field, right? So our entire attention at the corporate office was how to keep our drivers safe in the field and continue to serve this beautiful country during the pandemic, right? So as a critical infrastructure service, our drivers need to help keep the grocery store stocked up, pharmacies filled with the medicines, millions of PPEs got delivered to our healthcare workers. As our drivers are delivering the goods during the pandemic to the epicenters like New York, California, and other areas, to support our heroic drivers, actually JB Hunt executives and leadership, almost more than 15% of the work, we work in offices. We came to work to support our drivers to ensure all the transportation and the technology and the operations are working as seamlessly as possible. Within weeks of pandemic, Ellen, our developers worked round the clock to deliver the touchless electronic bill of lading so that our drivers can use that without touching the paperwork. You know how manual, all this invoicing and all that, right? So our
Right.
developers literally worked round the clock in first couple of weeks and introduced the capability. And effective within 24 hours of notice of our employees switched to work from remote. Actually, JB Hunt's well-planned technology investments over the last 3 years have helped us to smoothly transition without missing a heartbeat. As far as I'm concerned, heartbeat is very critical, not only for the human and for the infrastructure and for the data centers and the cloud. So what I see through my eyes, our developers delivered the PPE and the critical without missing a beat. Our employees transitioned to remote work without missing a beat.
Wow. That's a tribute, and I know that you led that, the whole program and working remotely, and it was also very unexpected. So we're going to have to take a quick break, Vana. But when we come back, would you talk about the resource group Growing and Retaining Outstanding Women, GROW? And I know that I had the opportunity and the pleasure to speak to the GROW group a couple of years back, and so I see the value of it. And Shelley Simpson is such an amazing person as well. So hang on to that thought, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the Growing and Retaining Outstanding Women initiative, and I'm talking to Vana Matte, Senior Vice President of Engineering and Technology at JB Hunt.
Now, back to Women in Trucking on SiriusXM's Road Dog. Here's your host, CEO of the Women in Trucking Association, Ellen Voie.
Today's show is to introduce the finalists for the Influential Woman in Trucking Award. The winner to be announced November 13th at the Accelerate Conference and Expo virtual this year. And so today I had the opportunity to meet so far 3, and right now we're talking to Vana Matte. She's the Senior Vice President of Engineering and Technology at JB Hunt. And Vana, before the break, I asked you about the Growing and Retaining Outstanding Women, the Employee Resource Group. And I can tell you that I was very surprised and very happy to see that there was men who came to the event, to the group as well. So why don't you talk about that and diversity?
Sure. Employees, we want to be at the company where they feel like they're able to grow, develop, right? We want to become the best versions of themselves, like in professional setting. And no one wants to feel stuck kind of a stuff, right? So GROW is an organization, as you said, actually few men are part of GROW and leading, which is really, I'm excited to see that. That means the change is real at JB Hunt. And this growing organization was initiated a few years ago with our top executive sponsorship led by Shelley Simpson, who is our Executive Vice President and Chief Commercial Officer, and led by our Senior Vice President of Customer Experience, Tammy Allen, who is a friend of mine as well as a very tough customer who challenges to ensure the infrastructure is up and running all the time, right? And,
I know both of them, so I know both Shelley and Tammy. They're amazing women.
Amazing women, and that demands the best quality around them, actually. We are very intentional about hiring the diverse thought process, looking for hidden gems, giving the voice for the silent people, uplifting the disadvantaged, and through multiple relationships, very intentional and very planned and very surgical. That means the focused on these efforts kind of a stuff, like better relationships, job shadowing, cross-training, potentially building an interest in the field of their choice. So very methodically we went with, and we are seeing the difference actually, both men and women and all other possible diversity included. So they're merging actually. They're coming together. That's how I see it in the last 4 years when I see this. It's a beautiful momentum created at JB Hunt. And through COVID, we are ramping towards hiring, retaining, and growing the diversity in leadership.
And how are they meeting now? Are they meeting virtually, or is it kind of on hold, or how are you promoting the GROW group?
GROW, we are meeting virtually, as well as as you know, with actually close to 40% of the team, we are on site, maintaining 6 feet distance, and with the mask in the headquarters. So most of the meetings, if it is all the multiple locations, will happen virtually, but part of the meetings are happening on site too.
Okay. That's got to be that's got to be a challenge too. We're all waiting for this to be over when we can actually see people smiling, right?
That's right. That's right. But I mean, yeah, as I said, the work is moving on, and part of the employees are on site, maintaining the distance. And as you said, like our drivers continue to deliver the goods, we are here to support them in a most safe way and in a most valuable way.
So you want to talk a little bit about women in technology, because that is also, technology is a very male-dominated area as well. I mean, engineering, we know we need more women in STEM, areas. So talk about women in technology.
Sure. Actually, I would like to share a joke. Then I'll definitely cover this part. So when I was hired 4 years ago, when my boss introduced, purposefully, he didn't mention whether I'm a male or a female, just said my name. And the vendors were expecting to see a male in the chair, right? So when they came to meet me, and they said, like, they're looking for somebody. I said, like, who are you looking for? I said, like, Vana Matte. I said, like, this is me. They're like, we expected a man. I said, of course, right? So I think my boss had fun, and I had a fun with it too. But JB Hunt is very big on diversity and very big on technology investments. We are grooming the next gen technology leaders. Within engineering and technology, Ellen, we are almost 25% of the women engineers are in the ENT, which is a high number actually. And
it is a high number. Wow.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And wait a minute. And 100% of the senior vice presidents are females. 25% of the VPs are females. So we have drove 2x growth in the females leadership and management. Very methodically, we led that. And we are also part of the Northwest Arkansas Technology Conferences. JB Hunt, we have the best and brightest diverse. We hire best and brightest diverse leaders. And if they happen to be women, that's even more great. But I just want you to know, like, we hire the leaders, and the leaders happens to be the diversity candidate. Excellent. That's all we take. Alex, for the drivers and the carriers, if you don't mind, I would like to just give one message. If you have to take one good thing, how JB Hunt values you, I just want you to take these two sentences. You are the salt of the earth. You are our heartbeat. Be proud of yourself, because we are very proud of your drivers and carriers. Thank you.
Wow. Let me ask you to bring out your crystal ball, Vana. And how do you think that after the COVID-19 is over, how will things change both for drivers and, I mean, all this contactless delivery and things like that, and for the rest of us in the industry? What do you see in the next, let's say 5 years down the road? How will things be different for all of us?
The technology will be very great enabler for the driver. And as I shared few ideas like planning a trip, planning a product, planning the shipment, these will be heavily automated so that if you see the 11 hours of the driver's life on the road will become much better with the technology. They'll get much more help in various other technologies like edge-level computing. Like the truck will become the most powerful technology for the drivers, and their life will get better. That's how I see it in the supply chain industry and the.
And also the use of technology, in my opinion anyway, just makes it safer for everybody. So the technology takes some of the driver error away, and not just the driver in the truck, but the drivers in the cars around them. So I think it's all a good thing, right?
Exactly. Safety technology and the automation will be on the roller blades 3 to 5 years from now, which will be positioning the drivers to be in a more safe place, in a more, I should say easier. Their job will get easier, much easier, but it will be much smoother, faster, and they could move more loads. Kind of stuff.
And what about technology for those of us who aren't in trucks?
like other industries?
Well,
Like
let's
supply
say
chain
the trucking
industry?
industry, let's say our conference. I mean, we're thinking, and again, I know I'm just asking you to speculate, but we're thinking that with all the conferences being done online this year, people are getting comfortable with that. And so in the future, I'm guessing there will be an online, in-person hybrid more moving forward, instead of just assuming that everybody's going to travel for meetings and conferences and things like that. So, I mean, do you see that as
That is
well?
true. Yeah, actually, we surprised ourselves. Actually, many companies, industries have surprised ourselves how much we could do being online and with no limitations. But at the same time, Alan, we also need to acknowledge when you're defining a strategy and when you're defining a highly collaborative kind of operations, we need to have people on site. And so we are thinking the way we are envisioning this is, like you mentioned, hybrid. Like some of the part of the work can be done remote, wherever you are in the globe. And part of the work we could come in and defining the strategies and defining, that any disconnects and where the work is required, like more collaboration, that work needs to be in person if possible, kind of stuff. But once whenever you change a new curve, when you create a new curve at a new idea, a new innovation, you need some on-site presence. And once you define and enable that, and then we can continue to operate staying remote. So that life of transformation, life of innovation continues hand in hand. And the technology has proven that we could do that. That's the reason why I see the transformation growth in the industry will be like X, 2X, 3X speed. Speed of innovation will be faster in next 3 to 5 years.
Wow. It's hard to imagine, but we have to. I mean, our whole paradigm has shifted in this pandemic, and I think we're all much more open to different ideas and doing things differently. Thank you so much, Vana, for being on the Women in Trucking Show, and congratulations for being one of the finalists. And I don't know if you knew this, but all 6 finalists were within like 1 point. So, and I was one of the judges. It was not an easy decision to make. So the winner will be announced November 13th at our virtual Accelerate conference. So thank you for taking time out of your Saturday to be on the Women in Trucking Show. I really appreciate it.